Rolling on the surface for the Halloween Eggspress, and what I have is playing around with my background color. And I have this spa blue that I was going to use by itself, and I thought that it was just a little too turquoisey. Then I mixed in, over here, I mixed in just a little bit of red violet, and it came out a little too blue. So what I decided to come up with was I took my spa blue and I added, about maybe 2 to 1 bleached sand and spa blue. And then that's the color that I'm using for my background. So I'm going to roll that on, give it a nice even coat. It takes 2, go for it. I've got my pattern traced on. I'm going to take this big oval wash brush. I'm going to dip into a little bit of my, ooh, that's a lot of water. This brush holds a lot of water, which is great. Dip into my avocado, and I'm going to get a touch of spa blue in there. And what we're going to do is we're going to wash in, probably a little bit more spa blue, just wash on where our heel is going to go. And the reason we want the spa blue in there is so that the heels kind of go into the background just a little bit. Go up to your pattern line. Okay, and then you want to use shape following kind of strokes. Get it all the way across here. Okay. Now keep it wet and keep it moving, because if it dries then you'll end up with a line. Now we'll go into more avocado, then spa blue. And we'll work our way towards the front. Coming down. We don't want any of these up and down lines to show, so once you get it on there, just keep it moving. Just wet your brush from time to time. I'll keep everything going. Okay, bring it down. Okay, so I think we'll go into a little bit more spa blue for our background. I'm going to do that wet on wet. Just mix it while it's on there. We can't do this dry, so you got to do it when it's wet. Just attack it and get going, and keep adding water while you're working. Now you don't want it to look like everything's flowing downhill, so your lines need to go straight across, and not have any of those. You don't want to have them all tilted just because my heel tilts. I'll get a little stronger towards the foreground. Okay, get into a little bit of the evergreen as well, down in the very front. This is just a wash, so the spa blue is going to kind of a little bit more evergreen. Isn't it fun just to get messy with paint? You want to go to your border. You don't necessarily have to go over your border. I mean, you can go over your border, but you don't want to leave a gap. Because when we put our border on, we'll be base coating it, so whatever color that ends up being will cover up. And we'll fade it off up. Going straight across. A little bit more. Floor cloths are more interesting to paint because you can't turn them every old which way. So you kind of end up contorting yourself and doing all kinds of weird machinations and stuff to get the look that you want. Okay. Now we'll adjust this for evenness, although you don't want it too even. And that's going to be a more neutral color. Let's go into a little bit of our burnt umber. It's going to be the avocado plus burnt umber plus spa blue. So kind of a browny, tanny kind of color. Keep that line. Say hello to my little rooster. Okay, and this one, this sunshine right here, we're going to wash that in using antique gold. I'm going to keep it, like I said, don't let those directional lines show. So you do that, you keep it wet. Got to get a wash of yellow behind all of this stuff happening back here. Lots and lots of water, very, very faint as it's getting away We don't want this to become the yellow project. Just keep adding water, get behind the hills. I've got my pattern on, which means that it's going to be concreted in there. Like I said before, it doesn't matter if it gets into our sky, into our borders. We just do want any streaks to go in the direction that they're supposed to flow. And it gets fadier and fadier as it gets over here, so I'm just adding more and more water. I just got into my green paint. Don't do that. I'm going to blot on my paper towel. I'm just going to pull, let's see, helps if I'm going in the right direction. Pull these out in kind of lines, so I've loaded some paint. And now I'm going to pull these rays streaking across the sky. I'm going to start shading the basket. Milk chocolate. You'll shade under all of these little divisions to either side of this. And then these little rope looking it's like a little C-stroke. You start out and then you make this little curve. Just follow your line. And let's shade our basket handle. You're going to want to shade to either side, because then we'll highlight the middle. Okay, I'm going to shade to either side. I got to erase this line. If you got any paint on pencil or transfer lines, then the transfer line will be there forever, and it won't come off with any cute gimmicks and stuff like that, so I'm going to be really aware of that. Okay, I want that to bulge out just a little bit. Rocking your float, the wet side of the brush is pre-wetting this far side, so when you do your first float, now it's wet over there, and that makes it kind of smoother, transition-y float kind of a thing. Okay, over here, walk that in just a little bit for roundness. The opposite side. Okay, we want to go on the top of the straight across top rim. Under here. It's getting, and then we want to go on either side of these straights, or whatever they call these reeds, or weaving things, or whatever. I don't think I know my basket terminology. Alright, now we're going to dry rub on this. I think with French vanilla. We'll see in a minute. So I've got my crescent stencil brush, totally dry. I've got my crescent stencil brush, poke it into some paint, it's totally dry, and then I wipe it off until you can't wipe any more off. And it's on a dry paper towel, no water here. And the nice thing about dry rubbing on these floor cloths is they have just nice, even, pebbly texture. To get those nice and bright. I'll wash my brush out and dry it out real good so it'll be ready for later. And with the round brush, you load just a little bit of paint. Okay, that's going to be too bright, so we have to mix it. We're going to mix our French vanilla with our shade color. A little bit more French vanilla. Yeah, there we go. Always feel free to assess as you're working. If something looks wrong and you go, oh, does that look wrong? Then usually you're right. So go ahead and, just adjust your color according to you know, it's amazing. You could use exactly the colors that I call for, but maybe you like stronger colors or something, and so then maybe my color isn't going to look right anymore on your painting. So you really do have to assess according to your own personal painting style and tastes. I got out one of Patty's favorite dry brushes. I'm going to load it with that highlight color. Okay, and then I'm going to just give this, flick it on my paper towel. Give the little dry brush action going right here. A little skim of color. When you have to start rubbing at it, reload some more paint. Flick on your paper towel so it doesn't come off strong. Okay, there we go. And now we'll turn on the chisel of our brush. Just get you on camera. The chisel of our brush, and we'll dry rub right down the middle of the handle. Just for roundness. Okay, maybe just a little stronger here. And we're going to go into burnt umber. Put my glasses on so I can see. And then we're going to shade to the sides. We're not going to shade everywhere because we really don't want everything to get deeper, darker and stuff. Just the depth areas, like the edges and stuff. Welcome to my rooster's life. I think his days might be numbered. Our dog is taking a keen interest in him right now. Okay, and then we'll shade underneath, kind of skinny up here, bit depth down here. Okay. Okay, we're going to float on our blue egg with, what's the color? Hello. Victorian blue. And I hope that's dark enough. I think that might be. So Victorian blue, and you can't cut through your floats. So we got to bring that float over here. We'll let that dry, and then we'll do it again. So in the meantime, we'll come back to this blue egg over here. He can kind of just be almost Victorian blue because he's tucked in the corner and everything. He's not going to show very much when we get done. Okay, so while I'm waiting for that to dry, then we'll go into our Napa. You blot it. Every now and again you want a clean float, you need to blot. Okay, we'll come back here. Around that corner a little bit. Around your Napa and mix a good shade color. Silly rooster. Go into that mix. And then we'll pull this down here. Whoops, I want to have that ribbon going around it. We don't want to see the float change. We just want that to be smooth. Okay, so bring it down this side. Okay. Need more water on my brush. Sometimes when you see me stroking over and over again, I'm trying to even out my float. Okay, so we'll go on the front of that one. They're getting eggy looking, aren't they? Okay, so we shade all the way around them for roundness. Okay, as well as where they're sitting next to each other. This guy is kind of easy because he's... Okay, keep out the other egg. Okay, milk chocolate. Underneath. We want to round that a little bit. Keep our round shapes. That rooster is crazy. The dog and the rooster and the cat all lay down together. And it's a crazy situation. Suddenly the rooster and the dog have been fighting. And so I don't know if the rooster's trying to be a boss of a dog or what the deal is, but we'll see what happens in the saga of the rooster, the cat, and the dog. So as you're about to see, the reason I have all these little crescent stencil brushes, which are like $1 or something like that, they're so cheap, is because you can't use them wet. Okay, so I'm going to go into my French vanilla for my yellow egg. I'm going to dry rub my highlight in the yellow egg. There goes Loudmouth. We haven't named the rooster. He looks just like my floorcloth pattern Romeo. Okay, and then we're going to pick up a little bit of white. But he's such a loudmouth and he talks all day long that I think that we just decided that his name is Loudmouth. Okay, so we'll mix white on our dirty brush. Okay, and then I'm just going to stipple in a little highlight there. And now, because we can't share that color and because these need to be dry to do this technique, I'll wash that out, pinch out all the water, but then what I'll do is I'll use, oops, rattle rattle, I'll use my next brush for the highlights. And we're going to use Spa Blue, and then this might be too bright, but we'll see. For gentle touch, maybe we'll get by with it. If you have it too bright, and you know, you'll know because it'll look really chalky. Okay, we'll leave that. And now we'll wash that one out, because we can't use that brush again until it dries. It's a good idea to have, I have like 3 or 4 of every size. And then, you know, they're just so handy for little scrubby things. And they last until they fall completely apart, which I don't even think I've had one fall apart yet. Okay, so we need a pink. I think instead of getting fancy, I think I'm going to just put some white in with my gooseberry. Okay, and I really dip my brush in there. And then I'll go into white just on the brush, dirty brush. Go back into just the gooseberry maybe. Okay, so here's where we're going. Sometimes it's a good idea to get a look at the whole picture. I'm liking my basket and I'm liking the eggs and stuff. And I wanted to share just for a minute that sometimes when you come up with a project like this, you know, I have a How to Design DVD that talks about how I go through and design and the different process. I can't draw, I failed art in high school and stuff like that. But I've got this rattling going on and I thought I'd share. When you find something that inspires you, for example, I've got this little tin. I bought this, it was filled with English toffee, which I don't even eat. But, you'll see what I mean in a minute. Let's see. Okay. But you can see it's got these cute little bunnies and these little booths. They're at some little fair, and ducks and clothes, and they've got these bright colors, and then they're wearing hats and they're doing all these cute things. I've had this tin for like years and I haven't done anything with it. And today it's sitting here just being like a little muse for me as I'm getting ready to paint the different parts. You can see I'm not copying it or anything like that, but I think my sheep may just have a little pink bow like this one that'll carry that pink color around. So, you know, you got inspiration. And then another favorite inspiration piece of mine is this little Mary Englebright box. I got it at Michael's. Let's see if I get this right angle. I got this at Michael's, and I just love these color combinations, and it actually inspired the brush bottle opener. And you can see that they're not the same style or anything like that, but they're the same palette. Okay, and so, you know, inspiration is very valuable. So I keep this around and it inspires me a lot, frequently actually. So you can see that we've got kind of this pink and this teal, whoops, this pink and this teal kind of colors going on. So I just thought I'd share. I don't know if you're curious, but there you go. Okay, we're going to float our ribbon with the mixed color from our eggs. so we'll float. And that might be just a little bit too dark. Okay, and we'll float here on either side of where the knot goes. And then we've got to float to make that go underneath that. Same on the other side. Allergies are gonna drive me nuts. Okay, and then we'll make this ribbon come around. Maybe we'll have it fold over itself right there. Okay, we'll have this one fold over this way. Okay, so that's changing the color kind of this ribbon. We want to float on the knot. Shading away. So I wonder how many of you try and guess which music song is playing in the other room when I'm doing this. I know a lot of you have many of the DVDs that I put out, so we've got the other people working out in the other room, and the way we keep occupied during the day while we're doing all the computer work is to listen to nice inspirational music and stuff. So we try to keep it so that it's not too irritating, but I don't know if we've always succeeded. Oh, I'm liking that little pink bow. Alright. Yeah. Isn't it fun to do these details? Alright, now this is where I'm wondering if I can't sneak in a little bit of the same color into my yellow egg. And I think that's going to work nicely. It just jazzes it up. And the other thing I bet you I could do is sneak a little pink maybe in my basket. Just gonna keep you straight. Oops, not on the light colors, so it'll get really pink. Rub the white on our bow, the center area. Up the middle here. And maybe a little bit more on my... Okay, we're going to float on, get this up so you can see it, our little fence post with burnt umber. And this is going to be a really fine little float, so it's very little paint, not very blended, and then you'll use the chisel. If I could get you on camera, you'll use the chisel of your brush and you'll just run that along the edge to make that look like it's a tilted fence post. That's a lot of repetition. You'll shade on either sides. Get my hair out of the way. Okay, you'll shade on either side of these things. Make them go onto the boards. Do a little tiny float of that mixed color for the egg, which is the Napa and the raspberry. Pardon my nose. I love Southeast Ohio, but I apparently have an allergy thing going on. Okay, so we're going to shade on either side of the knot, and shade under each little side, just to give them a little detail. It's not super duper like float, 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 you know. I use this angle stippler, and when you use these, you gotta really wake them up and them open. Okay, otherwise they just don't work right. You use some water and load just the toe. It's got a little toe on the front of it with the evergreen color. And then we have to keep it off our ribbon. Okay, you don't want it too runny. And have some of this stuff spilling out over the edge. And you know, interesting. And we want to have a little high-low action going on here. If it's too much the same, that would be very interesting looking. Now we're going to use a little filbert brush and go into our, let's see, our turquoise. And we'll give turquoise plus a little bit of that. And then we'll give some greenery here. Okay, so a little bit of greenery, a little bit of filler fluff. I'm listening to Big and Rich out there. Okay, and then funny story is I prayed, so let's get into, pop a hole in the straw, the golden straw, and then let's do just a little bit of sparkle in there. Just a little random. That pink on, yellow on that bow. Just look at it so you can see it. Okay, so just bring that puppy out. Okay, we have our little windowsills on. Now what we need to do is put curtains in our windows. You know what I think we need to do first is darken them. Let's make our little windows be, mix the Victorian blue and the what is it? Victorian blue and evergreen. And put a wash. We could put that pane right back in, I guess. I think we need a couple little holes up here. There we go. Little peepholes. Not sure why they'd be peeping, but oh well, it needs something up there. On the roof on our things right here, let's go ahead and use that evergreen and blue mix for that as well. And we'll just wash that on. So it's just like a darkish something color going on up there. Anytime you're washing, you want to blot your brush. So I'll just come over here and I guess I gotta keep that straight there. Okay, so we're gonna float some little curtains in our windows. Side load your brush. And just make little kind of side-loadedy. Sniffle, sniffle. Okay, and then you can take your little stylus. This is where a micro stylus comes in very handy. Alright, so now we'll take our little micro stylus and we'll make little itty bitty pyramids of dots. And that'll be our little lacy curtains. We'll take our round brush and we'll just make some little curtain details. I need to put that the windowy thingy back. Whoops, it helps if you go straight. Some of the gooseberry plus white awning things on here, stripes. Shade our building with the Victorian blue. Keep it off of your little fancy thingy. Shade on either side. You can shade under the windows maybe a little bit. And a little depth across the top. Across here. Oops. And then I think we want to shade our awning. We want to shade it straight so that it looks... Just brush. There's nothing like a holiday like Easter with all the bright colors and stuff to allow you to have some creative license. So just paint on some little polka dots. And that's with Spa Blue. Again with Napa. Just to perk everybody up just a little bit. I want some more of that on there. Just a little hint. Napa up there. Okay, now we'll shade our little caboose. This is burnt umber. Shade where our wheels are in the way. Just give this a, oopsie, can you see that? Give this kind of a wash all the way across. With the gooseberry plus white and then gooseberry egg up here. The end of the row here. And I'm thinking we want to keep our pink and yellow colors kind of going, so we're going to give him a pink sweater. He's holding a paintbrush. We'll give him some brown pants down here or something. This isn't, you know, official or anything like that. We just need something that he's, something that suggests that there's a body in there. Yellow paintbrush. The paintbrush ferrule. And then we need to drip some paint off of there. In the meantime, we'll shade this egg with the full strength gooseberry. I had that sign in there and it didn't show very well over all the blue polka dots and things like that, so. This egg right here we need to shade with raspberry. I finally broke down and opened up a new palette paper, so I'm not running into myself. Okay, yeah, see I'm cutting through. What I want to do is add just a little bit of detail to decorate that egg. with white. Got some polka dots. With golden straw. Okay, and I think, let's give it a little nest action. And this is with burnt umber first. A little bit of water so it'll flow. And then we'll go into a little bit of cocoa. Yeah, cocoa, sorry. Forget where I'm at. And then, yeah, our little egg is in its little nesty poo. Alright, we have to put paint on the end of his brush, and I think that needs to be turquoise because I think that's the only thing that's going to show up over there. Kind of thickish. Okay. And we'll have some drips. And go with our straw and rewrite our egg sign. Napa. And line to drop shade next to it. Oops. Bunny, we're gonna shade to separate. And shade for roundness. Put a bee on his chest, maybe with the thinned white and the pink. Umber? No, we'll go with the cocoa. I've got a little burnt umber in my brush with cocoa. Go into burnt umber for the ferrule. And the midnight blue. So we'll shade our paint drips with. Okay, and I think we'll go up here and shade on our little building topper. That as well. Deepen that. And underneath. And on our paint in our brush down here on this shade, burnt umber, gooseberry plus white. Okay, and then while we're at, okay, if we can see this, then his little mouth is going to be burnt umber. And a little cocoa nose. Oops, not so much water. Guess he could have a little pink nose. I'm gonna make his eyes little arches of white. And then we'll make him have blue eyes, so we'll put some turquoise in his eyes. Oops. They're both looking in the same direction. We need a little bit of black. Thinned with water. And then just highlight his eyes. And gives that little let's give him some little whiskers. And he gets a white highlight for his eyeballs. Whoops, we might have to wait until that dries. Yeah, gotta wait. And he gets some little pearly Bucky Beaver teeth things sticking out here. And you can add just a little bit of a liner for his paws here. His shirt. A little bit on his ears. We're going to wash, we had the wheels based with the cocoa, and then we washed over them with burnt umber. We're using the white and gooseberry to make the details, and we're going to make these little flower petal wheels. So I just do a little comma stroke action. If you go crisscross like that, then you'll get fairly accurately straight commas. If you do them all in a row, they tend to pinwheel. We'll add our little railroad ties of the gooseberry. It's like a reality railroad here. I don't think that could really happen, but we're in, like, you know, Easter Fantasy Island here. Just put some little ribbons on there. We'll shade those, and then they link everything together. Okay, based our little lamb in burnt umber plus white, and based his little nose in burnt umber plus a little bit of white. And then we're going to take our white, with just maybe a hair of burnt umber in it, and we're going to fluff on wool fluff. And he's in the foreground, so he'll be bright, but we don't want him to be the, you know, whole center of attention. So just little, you know, roundy, fluffy fluffs. Let some of that darker undercolor show. Okay, and we'll float his nose, and his ear, and his little leg. Okay, and his little eye. It's going to be a little sheepy, little sleepy eye. Give him his little nose. Okay. I think we want to float underneath him. We're going to float underneath a whole lot of this stuff with some evergreen. Make him sit down in the grass there. Oops. Hello. My palette is so junky right now. I really need to just get a new sheet out. But all my colors are on here, you know. I hate starting over again. I have to get everything out again. Okay, and then we'll take our liner brush. We have to have some grass growing, otherwise what will he eat? nice little mowed grass here. And then we'll make a couple of, let's see, what we've got going on around all these fence posts and things like that is we've got grass growing up, some long, some short, and then just random spots. And all of these get just a little bit of something growing. Make them different, some big, some little. Okay, and then take that same floating brush and you add the grass and then make a little kind of little hump for it to grow on. And just add some random other little humps. And then some of these are going to be tulips and stuff. And let's see, what color tulips do we need to put down here? I'm thinking yellow. Okay, we're going to add some Napa details on our bows, darken them up just a little bit. And then highlight it with white plus gooseberry. Our basket and all this stuff over here. Milk chocolate where it overlaps. Okay, and then we need to make this be like boards. Okay. We'll go into burnt umber. Pardon me. And we'll shade around this little wheelie-dealy thing. We'll shade on the edge of this. We're using the chisel of our brush. The tops and the bottoms of these board things right here. Cool. Go back into burnt. Okay, and then we'll go into the Victorian blue. Oh, got a little sign down there. And our sign says Easter service. Pardon me. I'm going to do that with some burnt umber. Gonna have to write a lot smaller. Pardon me. So underneath all these, well, behind this hill, oops, not on the bow, kind of shade behind that, so we know that that's in front. Oh, that was wet. Sometimes I'm a little impatient painter. So bring that behind. Okay, and then these little guys right here, go ahead and wipe it. Right. We need some water for our little duckies to play in, so we're going to do our Victorian blue and the evergreen. Ooh, that's dark. Lots of water. Okay, and we'll just put in some little water. Go around our fences and everything. Don't go through it. Okay, bring that down through our little tulips and everything. Okay, so I want to shade this side of our project. I'm going to go over where my line is going to be, and I'm going to go right over the fence. We use evergreen and maybe even a little bit of that burnt umber. Okay, get that shaded down. That's going to help focus our focal point. Okay, it's just too much. Too solid, too straight. And so we'll slip slap a little bit over there. Okay, bring that around. And then, see how we're leaving a line there? We don't want a line. So what we'll do is we'll go in and slip slap. We don't want it stripy. Okay, so that's better. And it's making me feel like my eye is coming in just a little bit. And we'll do the same thing down here. It'll make the focal areas be the focal areas, you know? Okay, I think I have some. Okay, I'm gonna make our little ducky bodies. Little yellow duckies. Just fill them in, nice and casual. You're going to have as many little duckies as you want. They're all following Mama. We'll base our Mama in, oh, that was golden straw for the duckies. We'll base our Mama in cocoa. And we'll shade her, give her a little yellow beak. A midnight blue, and we'll float a little water underneath these little guys. Give it a little bit of float. We've got that shaded already over here, but let's give it just a little bit more watery look. And just perks it up just a little bit with the midnight blue. And then take just a little bit, little float, a skinny float of white. Have that go right next to those little guys. Real sharp float. Not over blended. Could almost use a liner brush for this. Take our liner brush and give the Mama Ducky and the little guys little eyes. And you could take washi burnt umber, and you could give her kind of a little wingy ding ding thing on the sides, a little feathery kind of a look. More awning stripes going on over here with gooseberry. Shade them with raspberry. And pump them up with a little bit of the Napa. Jazz it up with Napa. Just a little dab will do ya, I think, on this stuff. Aid our cocoa pot with the Napa. off of that top. Yikes. Okay, and then that comes over here. Okay, and underneath the window. And around there. Just to deepen things up a little bit. I'm going to shade, or I'm going to look straight into the burnt umber. And I'll deepen this up just a little bit. A little bit of that burnt umber too, just to give it a little bit of ha-cha-cha. Shade his little hands. Just needs to get some shape. Got some nice burnt umber all the way in my go. Deepen that. Raspberry Plus. And give it that little bit of detail underneath. Our blue mix on our blue. And milk chocolate on our yellow balloon. Okay, and this little bunny down here, her hat's going to get milk chocolate as well. And then her little pinafore is going to get some milk chocolate as well. Her hat will get shaded with raspberry in her arm. And we're going to do the same thing with her. We're going to give her some of that little bit of lace. She's in her Easter finery. She's going to church. Tickle in some little bit of lacy stuff. And shade your wheels. Burnt umber. Now we need to make some steam coming out of our tea kettle or our hot cocoa pot. So we use some thinned white and just kind of crinkly up some wafting steam. I think we'll put something in the front here, just maybe a little nugget thing here. Okay, I'm going to shade the little Mama Bunny's dress. And shade her little skirt with, her underskirt part with the milk chocolate. shade the over skirt. Let's give her a little bit darker. Let's use the Napa for that. She should be a little bit stronger color than the little girl bunny. And let's tickle her in some lacy stuff on hers. Oops. Gotta have real strong paint and then just allow it to kind of squiggly off just a little bit. I'm also getting dry. It might be time to freshen up my paint. I think she needs some polka dots. I got a polka dot thing going on here. So we'll go into the pink plus the white, the gooseberry plus white. And maybe a little bit more white. And just give her a nice polka dotty D. Her hat needs just a little bit more detail. Needs a rim back here. And I think their ears need some burnt umber shading. Okay, so they're sinking into the hat. Right there and right there. And folding backwards. Oops. You could use your round brush into a little bit of white and just accent their ears just a little bit. Keep them from being lost. And little hands. And we get into our evergreen. And they're going to be standing on something. So give them a spot to stand on. Maybe white and burnt umber. Pardon me? Okay, maybe a little bit more white. And just wash these on. Of the burnt umber and white, and go every other one there just to kind of show the step elevation. And we'll put some little sheepies up there. That's going to be burnt umber and white, just so that they show up. They're just little squiggles. Okay, and then we'll take our round brush and we'll go into our burnt umber. And we'll put little nose, I need a little bit of water. Little noses and ears and things like that on them. Little legs. Just touch here and there. It doesn't have to make sense. You can make it make sense if it needs to for you. It's time to start decorating our church up here on the hill. Watch out for your dots if any are wet. We need a big, tall door made out of burnt umber, washed burnt umber. It's like a doorway. Okay. We need some stained glass windows, I think. And so what we'll do is we'll start with a wash of the yellow and the pink together. Okay, in a little bit of different colors, not too polka dotty looking. Let's give them a little bit of burnt umber, a little bit of the pinks, a little bit of the yellows. And let's just start scribbling in some bodies. Okay, just some ghostly kind of bodies with Raspberry Plus, and then go into your turquoise plus and just get some shapes. So it's time to get some tracks going here. It's thin burnt umber. Okay, and then at the same time we need to get some cross tracks going. And that needs to go right to about where the wheels are. These are just kind of suggestions. And they get softer as they leave, and they can't go downhill. And our burnt umber, and make it real washy. Blot it on your paper towel. And then this needs to go back behind here. In this kind of center of interesty area underneath the train tracks. Back over here. Behind the wheels. Up to the wheelbarrow. Down the hill. Okay, and you know, step back and take a look at what you got going from time to time. The idea is this front hill needs to be really in front. And so the only way that's going to be in front is if we darken. We can make some hills back here. Make some little hills over here. Okay, so with our same washi mix and our bristle brush, we need to make some little tree type things coming back up off of here. Just kind of squiggle them in. Different heights. Okay, and then over here by our same kind of thing going on. going to be a little bit stronger. There's going to be shrubs next to the church. And take you away from that edge just a little bit. Okay, then we'll go down in front. Okay, so now I'm going to try and deepen some of my areas on my project. So I'm going to dry rub some evergreen where I need to deepen. Okay, so we're going to have to get underneath that train a little bit. Don't want to go over my wheels and stuff, so we just have to be a little bit careful about that. So behind the hills, and I'm behind this hill, and reload as you need to. Now I've got this area behind the train right here that I think just really needs to be sunk in just a little bit. That'll help my bunny stand out just a little bit better here. Maybe even in the foreground over here. So we've got to get underneath that train. So that's going to be a wash of evergreen. And if I had some burnt umber out. Burnt umber. And I just need to get under here and just deeply kind of darken. If I need to increase the strength, I'm just washing over my ribbons. If I need to increase the strength of those, I can do that. This is going to help increase the contrast in this little bucket right here, this wheelbarrow. Make it stand out just a little bit more. To keep this in the foreground, so we're going to add just a little bit. Got a little bit of a highlight. I've got milk chocolate and sand on my brush. Let's pop this puppy forward. Let's give our Easter sunrise just a little bit of sand highlight. And then let's dance along our fence line. I want to go from here. Let's go into white only. Just take a soupy brush and let's go make the white follow the fence line. Jump the fence, pick up the wheelbarrow, and then walk our way into this backside. Just tickling. On our hillside, we're going to just make it a little bit greener with a scrub of evergreen. I'll pick up, and let's increase our smoke off of our little teapot. Increase the strength of our highlight here on the bunny's ear. We need to have a highlight coming on here It shows these puppies are up here. And now up here on our hillside, way in the back, let's put some branch lines and stuff like that. And then let's scumble in using our little filbert brush just a little bit more shrub stuff on some of these branch lines. They'll just look a little bit more shrubby-ish. Okay. And that's the evergreen plus the burnt umber. Okay, scrub dub dub. Okay, and up here on our hillside, oops, let's get some water in with some burnt umber. And we need a little bit of some different heights. All the same. A little bit of the straw, golden straw color. And let's get some of that coming out here. It's going to hit some of this stuff. Coming out a little strong on that side. And then just a wash of it in the general facility of the sun. Use Scotch brand magic tape. And we're going to tape our border. And so that's going to go right on our tape line, right on our pencil line. And it bends a little bit sometimes, so make sure that you get it straight. Okay, tape both sides, press it down good with your fingernail. Oops. There, not long enough. My arms are not long enough to do this. Well, I guess they are. I just didn't know they were long enough to do this. As you can see, I started with a pink border, but we're changing that plan. It is causing too much conflict with the other pinks that are in the piece. So I'm retaping this. Even though I used my Mylar, I still don't have a color that I love. And I'm using the Victorian blue plus black to get what I need. And then that's on the bottom row. And then on this top, moving up towards the top, I'm putting white in it to get it closer to the color there. And so I'm just starting out with the darker color down here at the bottom. And I had that pre-done, so hang on. Start down here. And then just as you swoop up, as the colors get lighter into the sky, then just load into your really lighter color. And then with feather-like touch, just kind of blend them down the row. And when that dries, it'll kind of marry. You can use your finger a little bit if you want to. You could flick it with your brush. Okay. And then across the top, we're going to do the lightest color across the top. Done. I think I'm just going to highlight straight in the middle with kind of a scrubbly of white tapped onto my brush. My checks stencil. I'm going to kind of line it up sort of in the corner here. Not exactly, because it doesn't fit, so, well, I guess I can line it up on the corner here, and then I can put another row. I'm going to use the color Sand, and then I'm going to stencil in the corners, and I'm not going to reload. Let's take a peek and see if that's even showing. Good. Okay, and so what I want to do is I'm just going to stencil until I run out, and I'm going to get lighter pressure. And it's just going to be a hint of something happening there. Yeah, and so then that disappears. Okay, and then you'll lay your stencil coming up this way with those showing through. And you do, I guess we have to go. Okay, load your sand and let it run out. Sand color. Now we're going to take thinned, earlier we added a lot of white into our avocado. We added white and even a touch of the pink, the gooseberry. So it just comes out to be, if you know Delta colors from a long time ago, stone wedge green kind of, or village green. Lots and lots and lots of water with a good liner brush. And you're just going to take this and just create these every other which ways, and I'm curling my fingers back and forth. Okay, and it's not going to come all the way up because, like I said, we're going to go in these two corners right here. Brush and some milk chocolate. And we're just going to float a little randomly here and there. Just to deepen that look. I'm going to take our filbert brush, like a number 8 or 10. We're going to go into that loose green. We're going to do these little threesome leaves. And just real soft colors. They don't all have to be threesomes, some can be singles. Okay, and then we'll add the flat brush, like an 8 flat, we'll use our sand color plus white. And we'll add, whoops, hello, random, little flower clusters. Okay, then we'll also take our filbert and we'll add with gooseberry plus white. Very few, oops, not so much white, very few little berries, just to put some of that gooseberry in there. And then when our white is dry, we'll take our light blue and we'll shade just the centers, just with a little blob in the centers. Just that very lighter blue that we used at the top of our taped area. Big filbert brush, and we're going to float gently, gently, gently in the corners with milk chocolate. We don't want this to be screaming, and milk chocolate could really get screaming on this light background. Okay, just ever so, lots and lots and lots and lots of water. I just added more water to my brush, and I can even still do. Okay, and just in the corners, add a little bit of shading just underneath the corner edges with the milk chocolate.